Hi, so ngayon po pag-uusapan natin about copyright, types of copyright, categories of copyright, and fair use. So according sa Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines, what is copyright? Copyright is a legal protection extended to the owner of the right in the original work. Original work refers to every production in the literary, scientific, and artistic domain. Among the literary and artistic works enumerated in the IP codes includes books, other writings, musical works, films, painting, and other work and computer programs. Works are protected by the sole fact that their creation, irrespective of their mode or form of expression, as well as their content, quality, and purpose. Thus, it does not matter if, in the eyes of some critics, a certain work has little artistic value, so long as it has been independently created and has a minimum of creativity, the same enjoys copyright protection. There are 7 major categories of copyright law. First, literary works. In literary works, it covers copyright originally applied in books, articles, and other written works. The law reserves the right of making copies and distributing them to the author. It is critical for business to ensure they don't infringe copyright when creating manuals or marketing materials. A clear prohibition against the unauthorized use of text from source the company doesn't own synthesize employees of copyright issues. So, sabi nga, nagsimula daw talaga ang copyright sa mga books. Doon siya unang in-apply. Then came songs and music. Under the songs and music, companies don't usually deal with music unless it is their particular business, but many companies are music users. If you use music on your website or want to use a song in an ad, you may have to get a corresponding license from the copyright holder of his agent. Then, there's theatrical works. This category covers play with stage direction, choreography, pantomime, musical work, and their performance. Copyright protection, the word, the song, the music, and the performance, and any recording that has the authorization of all participants. Since each of these creative contributions may have separate originators, copyright becomes very complicated for this category. Like, yung mga nagpe-play, usually sa mga meron gumagawa nung sa mga mass comm students, sabi nila, pag gumagawa sila ng mga play, or kapag school play, bawal daw i-record yun kasi nga pwede silang kasuhan ng copyright kasi hindi sila licensed na mag-perform. So, though ginagamit nila educational purposes, ina-acknowledge pa rin nila yung copyright law for theatrical works. First category for copyright law in image and sculpture. Copyright protects image whether on a paper or film, recorded digitally, or expressed in 3-dimensional as a sculpture. Businesses use image in their advertising and catalogs and in product manuals and instructions. The safest way to ensure that you don't infringe copyright when using photograph is to hire a photographer to take the picture you need. When it's not feasible, you can purchase license online for the use of the stock photograph. So, meron ding para sa motion pictures. Ito yung sa mga movie. The motion picture category includes video and digitally recorded moving images. While the illegal downloading of music continues to be an issue, downloading of movies and videos has grown with the increase of the high-speed internet service. When you allow employees to bring their own mobile device to work, you have to make sure that you have implemented policies to prevent illegal downloadings. So, ito nga yung major issue sa atin ngayon, no? Yung ang daming pirated movies and mga illegal nagda-download ng mga music online na katulad ng meron naman na ngayon ng Spotify, hindi mo na kailangan i-download mag-subscribe ka lang sa YouTube. Ganyan. And sound recordings. Sound recordings are a separate category because they exist in many forms and have a wide variety of applications. Uses subject to copyright include background music in a company's reception area, music and telephone system for caller that are holding ringtone music played at company's event, and music in company representation, broadcast music incorporated, issues blanket license to business for playing music in public. Oh, meron ganun din pala. And lastly, the architectural works. The work of architecture constitutes a separate category because it covers drawing as well as the resulting works. This means that if your company is building a new facility, you can copy another building design and you can't use someone else's drawing without authorization. Most jurisdiction requires an architect for business construction and the architect will create the original design. Yeah. Yung mga building na ginagawa, usual talaga, kailangan talaga nila mag-hire ng architect para maggawa ng original design nila kasi yun nga, according dito, bawal yun na gamitin ang design ng ibang tao. So, tapos na tayo ngayon sa categories ng copyright law. There are two types of right under copyright. Economic rights, so-called because they enable the creator to obtain remuneration from the exploitation of his work by the third parties, and moral rights, which make it possible for the creator to undertake measures to maintain and protect the personal connection between himself and the work. So, under economic right includes reproduction, and under reproduction there's transformation, first public distribution, rental, public display, public performance, other communication to the public of the world. And under moral rights, there are right of attribution, right of alternation, right of integrity, and right to restrain use of his name. Under the moral rights, there are exemptions. First, when an author contributes to a collective work, his work to have his contribution attributed to him is deemed waived unless the expressly reserve it. A collective work is a work which has been created by two or more natural persons at the initiative and under the direction of another with the understanding that it will be disclosed by the latter under his own name and that contributing natural person it will be identified. In the absence of the contrary stipulation at the time an author license or permit another to use his work, the necessary editing, arranging, or adaptation of the work for publication, broadcast, use in a motion picture, dramatization, or mechanical or electrical reproduction in accordance with the reasonable and customary standard of requirements of the medium in which the work is to be used, shall not be deemed to contravene the author's right secured by his chapter, nor shall complete destruction of a work unconditionally transferred by the author be deemed to violate such rights. So, what is the term of protection of a copyright? In general, the term of protection of the copyright for original and derivative work is the life of the author plus 50 years after his death. The code specifies the term of protection for the different types of work. Next, in calculating the term of protection subsequent to the death of the author shall run from the date of his death or of publication, but such term shall always be deemed to begin on the first day of January of the year following the event which give rise to them. So, what constitutes copyright infringement? And so, if you want to register for a copyright, these are the requirements. So now, let's talk about fair use. What is fair use? Fair use is a legal concept that allows the reproduction of copyright material for certain purposes without obtaining permission and without paying a fee or royalty. Purposes permitting the application for fair use generally includes reviews, news reporting, teaching, or scholarly research. The idea of fair use originally arose for written works, but in the advent of digital technology and the internet, fair use has sometimes been applied to the redistribution of musical works, photographs, videos, and computer programs. The limit of fair use are not always clear. Fair use may include the reproduction of a song or photograph to give to a single relative or friend as a gift. If you intended to make a profit by reproducing and selling a copyrighted work or part thereof, that does not normally constitute fair use. Other factors include the size or content of the passage or material reproduced, the length of the time for which the material will be used, the number of copies of the reproduced work that will be distributed, and the effect of the use of the market value in the original copyrighted work. Anyone in doubt about whether a given activity constitutes fair use of a copyrighted work should consult an attorney. It may be faster and simpler to request permission of the copyright owner. And here I will show you the common example of fair use. So dito na po nagtatapos ang ating usapan tungkol sa copyright and fair use. Sana may natutunan kayo sa video na to. Thank you for watching.